Donald Trump is panicking, and with good reason. Nissan, one of the most powerful automakers in the world, is pulling billions of dollars out of America and moving them to Canada and Mexico. Factories in Tennessee, once symbols of U.S. industrial pride, are now under threat. Thousands of workers are facing layoffs, and communities that once thrived on steady paychecks are bracing for collapse. This isn't just about one company or one factory. This is about the unraveling of America's manufacturing base. Trump's 25% auto tariffs were supposed to protect American jobs, but instead, they've backfired. Nissan's retreat is sending shockwaves through Detroit, Ohio, Michigan, and far beyond. Families are struggling with higher car prices, record-breaking auto loan debt, and a market that no longer feels like the American dream. The truth is undeniable: America's auto empire is shrinking, while Canada and Mexico are stepping up as the new industrial powerhouses. In today's video, we're diving into the story of how Trump's trade gamble went terribly wrong. We'll examine Nissan's decision to retreat from Tennessee and redirect billions in investments to Canada and Mexico. We'll break down the devastating impact on U.S. consumers, the collapse of dealerships, the shuttering of suppliers, and the rise of new auto hubs north and south of the border. But this is bigger than just trade policy. This is about global competition. Canada is leveraging clean energy and stability as selling points. Mexico is becoming a manufacturing giant with lower costs and booming infrastructure. Meanwhile, American towns are watching their livelihoods vanish. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Here, we uncover the stories that corporate media buries, stories that reveal the real economic battles shaping our future. If you care about where this country is heading, you don't want to miss what we have coming. Trump's 25% tariffs and the fallout. When Trump announced sweeping 25% tariffs on foreign auto imports, he sold them as a way to force companies to build in America. He told voters it would bring factories back and create jobs. But instead, automakers saw it as a threat to their survival in the U.S. market. Nissan, like many others, faced impossible math. Cars produced in the U.S. suddenly became more expensive to sell abroad. Imported components became pricier. Margins evaporated. The logical move was to shift investment to countries where the tariff walls didn't exist. And that's exactly what Nissan did, choosing Canada and Mexico over the United States. Rather than bringing jobs back, the tariffs drove them away. Nissan's exit from Tennessee. For decades, Tennessee was Nissan's U.S. flagship. The Smyrna plant was once the largest auto factory in North America, employing thousands of workers. Families in the region built their futures on those jobs. The town itself grew around the promise of steady auto paychecks. But today, those promises are collapsing. Nissan has redirected billions of dollars away from Tennessee expansion plans and funneled them toward new facilities in Ontario, Canada, and key hubs in Mexico. These regions offer not just cost savings, but predictability, something U.S. trade policy no longer provides. What makes this retreat even more painful is the broader impact on the ecosystem that surrounded the Smyrna plant. Restaurants, schools, construction companies, and service businesses in the region thrived because of the steady employment the factory guaranteed. Now, with uncertainty hanging in the air, entire communities are tightening their belts. Local governments are facing reduced tax revenues, making it harder to fund schools and infrastructure. The exit is not just an economic blow, it's a social one, stripping Tennessee of its role as a shining example of how foreign investment could transform an American region. Tennessee, once seen as a success story of foreign investment in U.S. manufacturing, is now being left behind, and the scars may take decades to heal. The ripple effect on consumers. The most immediate victims of this shift aren't just factory workers, they're ordinary Americans trying to buy cars. With tariffs raising costs and companies fleeing U.S. soil, prices on new cars have surged. The average new vehicle price in America has soared past $48,000. Auto loan debt has hit a record $1.6 trillion. Consumers are taking on longer loans with higher interest rates, just to afford basic transportation. For many families, the dream of owning a reliable car is slipping away. The ripple effects spread further than many realize. Used car prices have also surged, as demand shifts to more affordable vehicles, creating a shortage in the second-hand market. Families who once could upgrade every few years are now holding onto cars longer, which increases repair costs and keeps older, less efficient vehicles on the road. Insurance premiums are climbing too, because replacing or repairing vehicles has become more expensive. Dealership closures across the Midwest and Rust Belt mean fewer choices for buyers and less competition to drive down costs. Independent mechanics and small suppliers are left scrambling to survive in shrinking markets. A policy meant to strengthen America's auto sector is now fueling its decline, leaving consumers caught in a financial trap they didn't create. Canada's winning strategy. While the US is stumbling, Canada is playing its hand perfectly. Ottawa has rolled out billions in incentives for electric vehicle production, promised clean energy for manufacturers, and created a long-term, stable environment that companies crave. For Nissan, Canada offered a safe haven. Ontario has become the centerpiece of its new North American strategy, with government partnerships, green energy access, and a highly skilled workforce. Where the US sees chaos, Canada offers certainty. But Canada's approach goes beyond incentives. It's about branding itself as the reliable partner in North America. With political polarization and trade wars destabilizing the US, Canada has leaned into its reputation for consistency and forward-thinking policy. The government has tied its industrial strategy directly to the global green transition, promising automakers not just stability, but a seat at the table of the future. That message is resonating. Global investors are pouring money into Canadian EV projects, battery plants, and infrastructure. Mexico may offer cost savings, but Canada is positioning itself as the place where cutting-edge auto technology will thrive. Investors are taking notice. Confidence is growing in Canada's industrial sector, while capital flight from the US accelerates. This isn't just about auto jobs, it's about long-term dominance in the global auto market, and Canada is seizing its moment. Mexico's rise as a manufacturing giant. At the same time, Mexico has become a juggernaut. With lower labor costs, upgraded infrastructure, and its role as a central hub in the USMCA trade pact, Mexico is attracting massive investment. For Nissan and others, Mexico offers efficiency, flexibility, and direct access to both the US and Latin American markets. Factories in Mexico are expanding while American plants are shrinking. Workers there are gaining opportunities while US communities are losing them. The new geography of auto production is being drawn, and Mexico is at the heart of it. The human fallout in US communities. Behind the numbers are real people. In Detroit, Michigan, Ohio, and Tennessee, families are watching their futures vanish. Layoffs are leaving breadwinners without jobs. Entire communities that relied on auto manufacturing are hollowing out. In Tennessee, workers who once had steady jobs at Nissan are now scrambling for employment in lower-paying industries. In Ohio, suppliers who provided parts to assembly lines are going bankrupt. In Detroit, neighborhoods are once again haunted by the sight of abandoned plants. These aren't abstract consequences, they're human tragedies. And they're multiplying. America's shrinking global share. Zooming out, the picture becomes even more alarming. The United States once dominated global auto production. Today, its share of the market is shrinking. Companies like Nissan, Toyota, and Volkswagen are pivoting to Canada, Mexico, and Europe. China is surging ahead in electric vehicle production. While Washington debates tariffs, other countries are building the future. The US risks being left behind, not just in jobs, but in technology, innovation, and industrial leadership. Investors are betting on Canada and Mexico as the future hubs of auto manufacturing, and voting with billions of dollars in capital. Nissan's retreat from Tennessee is not an isolated story. It is a symbol of a larger collapse. America's auto industry, once a source of pride and power, is now losing ground. Canada and Mexico are stepping into the void, offering stability and certainty that Washington no longer provides. The warning is clear: unless America adapts, more companies will follow Nissan's lead. The factories will close, the jobs will vanish, and the US will become a shadow of its former self in the global auto market. If this breakdown opened your eyes, don't just scroll past, take action. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you never miss the stories that matter most. Drop a comment below: do you think the US can recover from this auto collapse, or is the decline permanent? I want to hear your voice. And share this video with someone who still believes tariffs are working, because the truth is, the American auto dream is slipping away.